originally opened in 1995 as Jacksonville Municipal Stadium when this franchise entered the NFL. We welcome you to Jacksonville and TIAA Bank Field. Today, after a crazy opening weekend, it's on to week 2, and we've got a good one here between the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis on hand here. CD, you look at the Texans in this matchup. Their offense is one that doesn't rely too heavily on just one guy. They like to spread things around as best they can.
You're right about that. It's a diverse unit, and they like to run their offense by what they call game plan, meaning each and every week they study the opponent, they probe its weaknesses, and they move the ball around that way. They emphasize who's going to get it based on what they think they'll accomplish in that game. Other teams, they're a system team. They're going to run what they run no matter what. I like this style of offense. It suits them well.
Two one-loss teams set to lace it up. This ought to be fun, and we're underway on EA Sports. This one fielded at the 5. And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. So here's the first drive now for the Jags. They're led by the #1 overall pick in the 2021 draft, Trevor Lawrence.
And no excitement unless you're on the defensive team of last week in his numbers, because the only excitement he really generated was the one interception he threw.
Yeah, no touchdown passes.
Yeah, and his team wasn't real thrilled about that. And they lost the game. So I know this week has been tough on him because he's been working hard. Fundamentals, footwork, finding the right targets, and bottom line, how do they get a win?
And he stopped immediately there. So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. Another tote for Etienne. And this time he won't even make it back to the line of scrimmage as they stop him in his tracks. On 3rd down, Lawrence. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Not something you see very often from a quarterback of his caliber, an opening drive interception.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind that even he's surprised at how that one played out. But we know this guy is not going to stop him from continuing to fire as this game goes along. Probably give a little nod of respect across the field for that one and let him know he'll be back the very next series.
So out come the Texans in great starting field position. And they will be led out by their 2nd-year quarterback.
And last week's loss came despite a clean game on his end, throwing the ball with 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. His job this week is simple. Do it again. Continue to avoid turnovers and hope that what sunk them last week resolves itself this time around.
They go play action here on 1st down. To the right side, and he's got Landry complete. And they're going to get this down to about the 37. Call it no gain that time as it's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 3 to go. Back to throw here. And he's got his man on the out route. And he is going to have a Texans 1st down as they convert on 3rd and 3 with a nice gain of 7 yards. The Texans had 0-1 on the year following the loss in the opener. And what doubly stings for them, CD, they lose week 1 at home and now here on the road week 2. So it's certainly not a must-win, but boy, you hate to start a season with 2 straight losses.
Yeah, because you sort of feel like you're playing from behind right from the beginning, and that can really mess with...
And he fires one that's intercepted. And the Jags force the turnover. They'll take over at their own 27. That, Charles, the first interception he's thrown here in year number 2.
And I know it's just the first one, but didn't it feel like what we saw from him last year, where he was plagued by this type of a play? And they thought that, you know, over the offseason, going into a 2nd season, some of that would go away. Thus far, still looks a lot like his rookie year.
So time to see Jacksonville again on offense for the 2nd time here in this game. And they've got to be breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief. The first time you throw the football winds up being picked, but fortunately for them, it does not lead to points.
Well, that tells you about team football, doesn't it? Everybody gets together. What's that term they use? Complementary football? Okay, he threw the pick. The defense got together and said, hey, let's shut them down. Let's not turn it into points. They did exactly that. Now he gets a fresh start, a clean slate.
And a loose football. And the Texans scoop it. They find some open field here. And they will bring this one back. A fumble return for a Texans touchdown. Huge play by the defense, not only to force the fumble, obviously, but to return it for a touchdown.
And I know it's no fun for anyone who plays offense, but isn't it fun to see how a defense rallies when there's a fumble return and everyone tries to find someone to block and bring it all the way home?
I always like their celebrations because they don't get there that often.
No, they're not choreographed very well usually.
Point after, right down the middle. And that makes the score 7-0. So not only the cough up, but then the pickup on the other side, the scoop, and the score the other way, the fumble return for a touchdown. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. Fielded just outside the goal line. And no alley to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. Early on, you know, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game. But I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally because all division games have a little extra to them. But I like where this game is situated because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice. But at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
The numbers on the ground for Etienne last week. 20 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown.
And I'm eager to see how they deploy him in this game. Last week, a heavy workload. Do they decide to bring that down a little bit and try to keep him fresh? Or do they say, guess what? He's locked in. Keep handing him the football. That was a pretty favorable situation there. What would you call that? Second and manageable? Smart play, too. Didn't force it downfield when he didn't have it. Just checked it down. Let him get the first down, and that's exactly what he did.
On 1st and 10, it's Lawrence. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he goes out of bounds just shy of the 45. The Jags picking up the first down there, a gain of 12.
Well, I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people. But you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
Now Lawrence on 1st down. He'll get this out to the flat for Etienne. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds.
Holding, offense.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. Lawrence. And it's knocked away and
As a coaching staff, you can call just about whatever you want because you understand you have guys who reliably take away those massive shots downfield. You're not as worried about giving up the big one.
On 2nd down, a run with Etienne. Call it a 6-yard gain. Still plenty of work to do coming up. 3rd and 14. Now Lawrence. And this one is incomplete. Jack Fox out to punt here on 4th down. Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away. And this will hit just beyond the goal line as it's into the end zone for a touchback. So now we get set to see Houston for their 2nd drive of the ball game. They've got a 7-0 lead in the football as well as they start out 1st and 10. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. He finds his man complete. That's Page. Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And on the left sideline, he caught it, but out of bounds, according to the head linesman. Incomplete, so the ball a little late getting there, and it's third down. Looking left side, and it's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A big gain of 31 on third down. And that seemed to me to be all about trusting your receiver.
No doubt about it, because when he put that ball in the air, I will guarantee you everyone who's watching this game right now thought that's up for grabs. But this is a lot of practice time. As you mentioned, a ton of trust, and he knows how good his guy is. So to him, it wasn't up for grabs. To him, it was a big play waiting to happen.
A run on first down, but it's not going to get him much. Maybe a yard, and that's all. Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made at the Jaguars' 37. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful you're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
And a good physical run that time. He's going to wind up gaining 5 on that one. On 2nd down, it's Page. And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a first down.
But they're getting ready to go to work now in prime real estate after that last run. Found his spot and picked up nice yardage, didn't he?
And now he's got him knocking on the door of the red zone. On first down, Landry. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. On 2nd down now, it's Page. Still about 3 yards shy of a first as the 4-yard pickup brings him to third down. They'll drop to throw. Looking middle, and that's complete. And he is going to have a Texans first down as they convert on 3rd and 3 with a nice gain of 7 yards.
I don't care how many times we say it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. First down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
Now a play fake here on first down. Rush coming, and he's taken down. It'll be a loss of 7 on the sack, and it brings up 2nd. After run, 7-0 on EA Sports. Texans football to start quarter 2. Now following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17. Up the middle they go. Landry. He's able to get 4 back on the run, but now they'll have to find something here on 3rd and about 14. They'll look to throw here. This will be caught at about the 6. And it looks like he'll be just a yard shy of the 5 here as he's out at the 6. They pick up 10, but it'll still lead to a 4th down. Seems as if the passing attack's starting to heat up a little bit here in the 2nd quarter.
You can sense and you can see the momentum because now they're reading their patterns downfield, they're understanding the coverages, and they're finding the open holes in the defense.
And his kick is right there. It's good, and that will extend their lead even further. So that one on target, and it adds to this first half lead.
And maybe we're too early to worry too much about one-score lead, two-score lead, etc. But this is where you kind of start banking those points that come in helpful later on.
And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. Out comes the Jacksonville offense as they get set to take over here. Nothing for them yet from an offensive standpoint, down 10-zip as they come up 1st and 10. They'll start on the ground. Etienne, and he'll work this forward for about 3 at 2nd down. 3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Etienne once more, and he'll scratch out a yard up to the 30, and that's all. They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks. On 3rd down, here's Etienne, and he is going to lose yardage here. That'll back him up 2 yards and also bring up 4th.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. Jack Fox now gets set to punt. That'll be a 48-yard punt, 1 yard on the return. And the Texans will take over. And the football going back over now to the Houston Texans. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it, forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize, like going to the county fair.
And he'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown. A great effort there. His first touchdown here of the new campaign. And the Texans are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. And with his speed, if he just finds the slightest crease, he can take it the distance like he did there.
How about the leverage up front? Offensive line out leveraging the defensive front to create that space, that crease that he was looking for. And once he hits open field, he's going to be very difficult to catch and corral.
The extra point splits the uprights, and that makes our score 17-0. I'm not sure if they drew that play up to score, but it scored indeed. 1 play on the ground and into the end zone for 6. And from back there, a wise move. He'll just sit on this one, and it'll come out to the 25. And now out come the Jags. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the second quarter, but you're down.
You don't want to.
No, but let me finish.
Okay, my bad.
You're down 3 scores already. You've done nothing offensively, nothing on the scoreboard. That's not a good combination.
I think you just called it desperation time. I think you did. But let's face it, you mentioned this to me in a break earlier in the game. The energy level hasn't been there right from the start. We've noticed that. They've got to find a way to get on their toes and start punching instead of retreating, to use a boxing analogy.
And he'll be tackled at about the 35. The offense on 3rd down tonight, 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. They're looking at 3rd in the nose of the football. They'll run with Etienne. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. On 1st down, right back to Etienne to the 43, 2nd down. Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. Lawrence will throw. Now he lets it go deep for Kirk. And this is dropped. Oh, it's incomplete. He had a big gainer in his sights, but he could not reel it in. Now Lawrence. They'll try and set up the screen to Etienne. And this one's going to go the wrong way. Losing yardage back at the 42. This will wind up a loss on the play, and it'll be 4th down.
To me, this is a case of if you're not getting the ball, you've got to do your job and block for the guy who is, because there really wasn't much there. And, boy, the defense took advantage with that loss.
And the defense, they were just locked in there on 3rd. They had more guys than they could block. Here's Jack Fox now as he's on to punt for Jacksonville. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. A 40-yard punt, no return. And the Texans are going to have the football with a 1st and 10 deep in their own territory.
Houston set to take over. Well, partner, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was the case. One play to get into the end zone, and now they'll try to duplicate that success here.
And it's rare for those moments to happen. Incredible when they do. And you saw the celebration. Pure, unbridled joy after that one.
Now this throw caught left side. And he'll get this one way up just shy of the 45-yard line. That one covers 29 yards. First down.
Good strong throw and catch right there. And so far in this game, the alleys have been open for them to get completions, and they're taking advantage of it.
Things looking much rosier for them here in week 2. They work with the lead as they've got it 1st and 10.
Now a handoff up the middle. Page.
And a lane slow and materializing there as he'll get maybe a yard up to the 45.
2nd and 9 now. Over the middle, it's complete. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made at the Jaguars' 42. That'll put him over 100 yards receiving now here in this first half of action.
And that's a more than acceptable read right there because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time he waits for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a first down.
So in Jacksonville territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Up the middle they go. Landry. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5. Now a handoff up the middle. It's Page. And he's brought down at the 34. Call it a gain of 4. On 3rd down, Landry. And he's able to get it to the 31, and that's enough for the first.
Well, someone's been having a good game so far, and you know something? A lot has been power running. They decided to turn him loose again on 3rd down, didn't they?
They did indeed. He delivered the tough yards. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. And he's got his man in stride, complete.
And he will be brought down, but a 1st and goal coming up as we have come upon the 2-minute warning.
23 yards on the play. Here's 1st and goal, and gosh, points here, a chance maybe to put this thing away before halftime. They'll look to throw. Caught on the slant. A gain of 7 that time. 2nd goal. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Good yardage on 1st down. Now can they punch it in on 2nd and goal? Up the middle they go. Landry, the tally there, -2 yards. Brings up 3rd down.
That's a really alert defense there because they saw the heavy look come in from the offense, countered it with extra linebackers who brought a little bit of speed and heft, and able to really make a big-time play for their defense.
The Jaguars going to go ahead and use their first timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Now the Texans are going to call on the field goal unit. And this obviously about as short of a field goal as you can get. And his kick is good. And that will extend their lead even further.
So 3 points on the board, as easy a field goal as you're going to get, but I can see you shaking your head.
I love that peripheral vision of yours, partner, because to me, if it's the 4th quarter and you're up 6, I get it. But now, even if you run and don't get in, you're still setting them up to go a long field, 98, 99-yard drive. How do you look at your defense and not give them that opportunity?
Here comes the Jaguars offense as they get set here.
Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive, and they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least one practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated. And that's a good job there by the corner. We do talk about this a lot, that a lot of corners see their job as simply covering receivers. Tackling isn't everyone's thing. But in this case, he came up quickly and made a nice, sure tackle.
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete.
Looking to throw, Lawrence. That one thrown away from the pocket. The officials kind of looking at each other, but they'll say there was a receiver in the area, so no penalty, just an incomplete pass. And here now the punter, Fox, as he sends this one away.
Fair catch called for and made right at the 25-yard line. So possession goes over here on the punt, and the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10.
The Texans with the football here late in this first half. And with a 3-score lead already, this is not time for a momentum change, so I'd imagine they'd be happy to just take this into the locker room. Oh, this one incomplete. The pressure got to him as he released it, and it's second down.
And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. He finds his man, complete. That's Page. Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts, as it'll come with 36 ticks to go in half number 1. And the Jags have 5 in the secondary here on 3rd down. This time they stay on the ground. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. Now another timeout called for by the offense, as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. They'll look to throw now on 1st down. And he'll toss this one incomplete. Seeing no options, he throws it away. He'll try again with the arm here on 2nd down. He's going to fire one deep left sideline. Touchdown, Houston. A great play there as the first half is winding down.
And the Texans are able to add on to their first half lead. Good throw there, and I don't want to blow it too out of proportion, but he looks a lot more comfortable in his 2nd season.
You can tell he put the work in the offseason, and what I mean by that is understanding the playbook. Not just the plays and how to execute them, but how to do it against a variety of defenses. Also understands his team better, what they can and cannot do. You can see the confidence rising in him as he plays.
Extra point right down the middle, and the route is on here in this first half.
So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. From a yard or 2 deep, here comes a return. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Costs him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20. The Jaguars ready to go on offense for the final time in this first half.
And the ball backed way up, so thinking with this amount of time on the clock, probably just sit on it, and we'll see these two teams go to the lockers.
Yeah, I don't think you want to overthink it in this situation. Either side of the ball. Just go ahead and finish up the half and get on out and talk about it.
And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one, as we now go downstate to Orlando and check in with Jonathan Coachman with our EA Sports Halftime Report.
Okay, Brandon, we'll get you back to you and Charles in a bit, but first it's time for a trip around the NFL following an eventful opening weekend. Let's see what's happening in Week 2. We'll begin up at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. And that's been a back.
Sorry, Coach, put a pin in that. We are going to move right on to the 3rd quarter here.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3.
And we will not have a run back here as the second half starts with a touchback. And the Texans getting ready to go here to begin the 3rd quarter. The first half definitely went their way, and this would seem to be a great opportunity to kind of put this game a little closer out of reach with a score here.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful opportunity for them, because if they can add 7 more to their lead before the other guys even see the football, that could be the decisive blow in this game. I think that's how they're eyeing it. That's how they're approaching it. All defenses worry that whenever anyone catches the ball and has a head of steam come out of the backfield, it could turn into a big play with missed tackles where he runs through people. But they were right there waiting, and they stopped him for a minimal gain.
Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. Now a handoff up the middle. It's Page, and he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. A pickup of 11 and a Texans first down. They've got the lead early here in the third quarter, and runs like that are how they established that lead in the first half.
I love the fact that you're using the word lead, because they are leading from the front, pounding on the defense right now with the running game, and truly establishing themselves here in the second half.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Up the middle they go. Landry. And some nifty running there. Ultimately, it doesn't get him a whole lot, but it does take him to the 45. 101 yards for him on the ground now, as he has been terrific here this afternoon. 6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. They'll keep it on the ground. Landry, and he'll get it out to midfield. They'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here, because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
And they're going to get this down near the 35-yard line. Whatever the discussions were at halftime to try to slow down this offense, it has not worked to this point.
Yeah, I have a vision right now of everything that was discussed at the half just being torn in shreds or being erased off of the Microsoft Surface tablets, because none of it is working. They are really locked in on offense.
So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material. Now they'll throw here out of the gun. And he will find his man on the outside. Yeah, this will be a gain of 5 as he gets it to the 30. Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. That is caught at the 7. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 and mark him at the 5. A really nice gain of 25 yards.
And if anyone thinks they're just going to tuck their horns in and pull back off the throttle a little bit, you can forget it. Even with this big third quarter lead, I think this team's going to continue to take their shots downfield, and there's another completion.
It looks like a jumbo set with 3 tight ends here for 1st and goal. And he's going to press this one forward as they stop it right around the 1. On 2nd down, it's Page, and he's in for the score. Touchdown, Texans. A great effort there with his first career NFL touchdown. And the Texans take the opening kickoff of the third quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead. So the first drive ended in 3. This time they take it down and punch it in the end zone.
So that first drive felt like they were just gathering knowledge, didn't it? Just enough to kick the field goal on the first one. And the second time they put it all together and got it all the way to the end zone.
Point after, right down the middle. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. That time a 9-play drive. And it ends with a 1-yard touchdown run. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. Taken in at the 3. And he will make it back to the 15, and that's it. Good coverage there by the kick team. Here comes the Jags offense now. Time for their first possession of half number 2. Lawrence bringing the Jaguars up 1st and 10 at their own 15. They'll look to ETN to start things out. Oh, nice move. And he's taken down, but not before he gets this across the 25-yard line. On 1st and 10, it's Etienne. He'll be hit down at the 33, 5 yards on the play. The first down run got 5. Here's 2nd and 5. Out of the gun, it's Lawrence. And he's going to go down. The Texans come at him and able to bring him to the ground. They push him back 8 yards that time on 2nd down.
Pressure can come from all over when you're plotting a defensive strategy. On that particular play, it just came from the outside.
So now after the sack of Lawrence, the Jags looking at a 3rd and long. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Escaping the pressure right. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down. And the Jaguars send out their punter. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. A big kick that time, 52 yards. And they will take over 1st and 10. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. They're obviously right now in the driver's seat, comfortably ahead. They've scored on a couple straight possessions, Charles, and I mean, for them, I guess it's just more of the same, right? Keep doing what you've been doing.
Yeah, it's not typical for us to see games out of reach in the 3rd quarter. Right now, they're unstoppable in this one. And seeing how they just came out onto the field, it does appear like they're done scoring points in this one. They look awfully confident.
Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. And the Jaguars are going to take possession of the football. Well, with the size of lead that this offense has, I don't think that interception is really going to affect them much. But at least for this defense, something small to hang their hat on.
Yeah, and let's face it, they're not even scoreboard watching anymore, right? They're just trying their best to make a play, get themselves off the field, which they just did, and salvage a little bit of pride in this one.
And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. Well, we're still in the 3rd quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable now. A win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles, but I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. This is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this no matter how the game looks on paper going in. This one has turned out to be everyone's worst nightmare realized.
From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. Here's Lawrence. Dancing to his left. Nothing open downfield, so he'll throw it away. 2nd and 10 forthcoming here. 3rd quarter action from Jacksonville. And that is caught. Touchdown, Jacksonville. A.J. Brown from 13 yards out. And the Jaguars get a bit closer. Elliott good with a PAT. And the lead drops from 34 down to 27. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. And now out comes Houston. Still comfortably on top, 3rd quarter as they start things here with a 1st and 10. Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. That's a good way to start the drive. 17 yards and a 1st down. The partner is still in the 3rd quarter, but they've got this one well in hand and still airing it out with gusto and picking up some nice gains.
And even in lopsided games like this, you don't really see starters get lifted or the foot come off the gas before the 4th quarter. No one wants to leave any doubt when they're playing well. They just want to continue the process.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. Touchdown, Houston. A big play there. His second touchdown on the season.
And the Texans extend their lead yet again.
Good start to the season for him. He had the touchdown last week in the opener and a second one in week 2 now.
How about the pace he's already established, right? Not sure he can keep it up for an entire season, but don't burst the bubble because he thinks that he can.
Do guys go into a season with a goal for touchdown scored or yardage? What do you think?
I think every single one of the guys who's going to touch the football, they all have those types of goals. They all have those types of thoughts. And then they just have to see how the season unfolds if they can stay with it.
Unfolding so far so good for him.
Fielded just outside the goal line. And the tackle going to be made right there at the 25-yard line.
Out comes the Jaguar offense now as they get set to take over.
Right now, Charles, it just feels like they're trying to keep pace. They did score the touchdown last time out, but they still trail by double digits here. We'll see if this offense is once again up to the task.
Yeah, and I think that after the last drive, they've got to be pretty revved up, don't you think? Everything they were doing was working pretty well. They go back out there with the same mindset, playing the same tempo and the same pace. Still a lot of time left to make something happen in this one.
And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. They'll wind up losing 10 on the sack, and it'll lead to a 3rd and long.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in 3rd and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades are being handed out thus far.
So now after the sack of Lawrence, the Jags looking at a 3rd and long.
Out of the gun now on 3rd down. And this is caught. It's Brown. And way up past the 35 before he's taken down.
And they'll throw on first down with Lawrence.
And it's a short one here, complete to his tight end.
From the 44, Lawrence. He'll get that underneath ETN. And they're going to get this up to midfield. From midfield now, Lawrence. Batted at the line, but he still brought it in.
And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. 3 quarters in the books. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Jacksonville. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the 4th quarter. A very one-sided affair. Steps away to his left. And he wisely will throw that one away. A long way to go here on 3rd down for the 8th play of the drive.
Lawrence going to throw again. He'll drop that underneath ETN.
And they do get this across midfield to the 49, but a small consolation prize as he's well short of the first. That's going to bring up 4th down, only a gain of 2 there. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Here we go. Gotta have it. Lawrence.
And this throw will be intercepted.
And the Texans are going to get the ball back on the turnover as they hold on 4th down. But with this advantage, this defense knew that passes were coming, and they stayed in position, Charles, and picked one off here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, what a way to cap things off, huh? Because I think this is part of the game within the game. They see the scoreboard, they see what they can accomplish, and they went for it.
And the Texans set to come onto the field.
And after the interception, they are sitting in an even better spot with the ball and a comfortable 4th quarter lead.
They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. 2nd down coming up. The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Here's a give up the middle. This will be a short gain of 3 before he's brought down at the 22. The Texans on 3rd down. They've been very good, 5 for 7 thus far. This time it's 3rd and 3. Over the middle into traffic, and that's complete.
And he is going to have a Texans first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
There's a beautiful throw there, and he's been sensational the entire game, moving it around, spreading it, hitting the right guys. And look, under normal situations, partner, I would expect him to come out of the game now. They've got it in hand. But you and I have been around this league a long time, and every time we ask head coaches about it, hey, why don't you take your quarterback out when the game's in hand? They just kind of give us that look like that's what he's paid to do. So it's a very unusual situation. I'd want him out. They tend to leave him in.
On 2nd down now, Landry.
And he'll push forward to the 37, gain of 2.
On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. And he'll just get rid of it. The Texans send the punter out. Always a good sign when your first punt comes in the 4th quarter. And they punted 3 times in the loss last week as he sends this one away. That'll be a 44-yard boot, just a yard on the return as he's covered up quickly. And the Jaguars go on offense, 1st down and 10. Out comes the Jacksonville offense as they get set to take over here.
Where we stand right now in the 4th quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
They'll wind up losing 8 on the sack there, and it's 2nd down.
But one thing I do know, these guys on defense, they don't want this game to end. They're winning by multiple touchdowns. They've shut down the opposing quarterback in a big way, and they're still picking up sacks as we approach the end of this one.
Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on 2nd down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18.
Here's Lawrence to throw.
Flushed out right. And he'll just get rid of it. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down.
Now Lawrence to throw.
He's going to look deep down the field. And incomplete on the deep ball.
Even with such a big lead, Ray, the effort hasn't lapsed one bit. If the offense wants to score some points in this one, they're going to have to earn it. These guys are not giving up anything.
Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. Oh, good move. It'll be a 45-yard punt, and couple that with a loss on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over.
Houston set to take over. You just kind of feel for the defense right now. This deficit, they have not been able to stop them the entire game, Charles. And some hands on hips, some long faces out there on the defensive side. They're like, oh, my gosh, we got to face these guys again here.
Yeah, people don't understand how hard it is when you're on the side that's being dominated to keep your head up and continue to play hard. And that's what they're going through right now, trying to find that pride inside of them to allow them to continue to fight, even though they are down huge in this game.
He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead.
I know sometimes we can get fooled when we watch him make catches, as we just saw him do there, because he really looks like a wide receiver the way he goes about his business.
Yeah, 230, 240 range.
Yeah, not super huge. Maybe not counted on to be that inline point of attack blocker that we used to have in the good old days. But you can flex him out. You can run wide receiver routes with him. You can make him a primary target, and that's how he'll shred the defense.
Call it a gain of 4, and it'll bring up 4th down. The Texans send the punter out as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. This first punt, 48 yards. This one looks equally as good. So a change of possession here on the punt.
And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over.
And out Up now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go.
Well, we said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD. But unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. And, partner, they do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and they can try and hit the reset button starting tomorrow.
Nothing open downfield, so he'll throw it away. Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. From the gun, it's Lawrence. Got a man, and he hits him in stride. And he will not make it to that imaginary yellow line as they get him to the ground at about the 23. They'll wind up getting 7 on the play, and that'll bring up 4th down.
I thought they might take a shot down the field, but instead they ran a little drag route there. I think they were hoping he could catch it and run away from the defender. But a really good job keeping the play in front of them, and they force a 4th down.
And the Jaguars send out their punter. He's been terrific so far. Averaging 50 yards a boot so far as this one's away. Fielded just inside the 30. A 7-yard return following a punt of 45 yards.
And the Texans will take over.
Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here.
This has really just been a lopsided affair. What a performance they put on, and now they get the football back here with a big lead in the 4th quarter. You know, in the past, we might be discussing dinner plans, talking about steak and sushi, whatever the case is, CD. This ball game is pretty much well in the books.
Yeah, we really could have started bringing up dinner a long time ago if we wanted to, partner. And I think a few of the guys out in the field already making plans for the evening.
On 2nd down, Landry.
And good vision there as he's across midfield and down to the 45-yard line. 138 yards rushing for him now as he has been tremendous all day long. And carries like that, that's how they're going to continue to salt this thing away here, Charles, in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, how about that? A new set of downs. Clock continues to move. No better way to close out a game than to tap those mastodons you have up front and say, guys, keep pounding them. Let's keep the ball, keep their offense on the sidelines, and let's close this one out.
Delay of game, offense.
That flag accepted, and it backs the offense up a little bit.
Still 1st down.
Now they need 15 yards on this series after the delay of game. 1st and 15. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. So it's Texans football as we welcome you back. They've got a 2nd down now as they look to salt this one away. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And he's going to be stopped up at about the 47-yard line.
Let's see what they have drawn up here. A little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a 1st down.
On 3rd down, Landry. And he can only manage to get this to the 45-yard line. Well short of the 1st. Give him a couple on the run as it brings up the 4th down. And his kick here is good. And that will extend their lead even further.
Well, I don't know if you ever go into a game expecting to attempt a kick of 62 yards. Charles, not only attempt it, but make it one of the longest kicks that we've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm not sure you ever go into a game expecting to kick one of this distance, but all the better kickers, they do dream of it. And they show what they can do in practice and convince their coaches to give them a chance. That one surely paid off.
And now this offense comes back out onto the field.
They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
Sideline throw, it's complete. And a nice job there of keeping the toes inbounds.
And as this defense walks off the field, they can do so with their heads held high. What a performance by the offense, too. I mean, really, Charles, just complete domination on both sides of the football here in this one.
Certainly was, and I think both sides compete against each other all the time. You go to each other in practice, obviously your training camps, your off-season. But on game day, you both want to show your best. And I think that's what we saw from both the offense and the defense, a complete team victory.
So for the Texans, it was a great all-around performance as they come out of this one with the victory. And they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for Jacksonville, they'll drop to 0-2. And they'll try to get back on the beam next week as they'll head to Tampa to take on the Bucs.